People who have had a friends with benefits relationship. How did it end? I had a friend with benefits in my early benefits were off and on depending on whether or not one or both of us was seeing someone more seriously. We had good physical chemistry and were good as friends. But an actual dating type of relationship would have never really worked out. Tried that out bit when we first met. Ultimately, I got married and she got kids. She had kept in touch for quite a while. But things ultimately faded out. Most friendships in general are seasonal in nature. I've had several. None of them has ended badly. Usually ends because he entered a relationship with someone else, or one of us moves away, or maybe our schedule changes, and we can't find the time. I've been single for 6 years now, and there's always at least one in my life. It ranges from really no interaction at all outside the bedroom, or maybe we'll grab a drink or lunch or something. There's no cuddling and holding hands or any of that nonsense. We lead our own lives and have no desire for relationships. We began the night as usual. Me going down on her going down on me. Except she decided to throw me a curveball this time. As she has me in her mouth, she pulls her phone out. I'm thinking she is going to send a picture to her ex or a friend. Neither I'm okay with. But I allow her to continue. To my absolute amazement, she opens Facebook, proceeds to scroll down, like posts, all while I'm just sitting there, dick coming to a chub, and she is in another world. Not even sure what that was about. We caught feelings, then we started dating. Then we moved in together. Now we're married. 10 years in September. I'm about to make dinner. We're probably going to watch something silly and spooky on YouTube afterwards, like Mr. Ballin, and then go for a walk. I have to remind him to look at the hotels I picked out for our upcoming vacation, and look at gifts to send our respective mothers for Mother's Day. And we still have the feelings we caught. And we still date each other every day. The sex was the best I've ever had in my life. Hands down. But she liked the porn star look. Going about with her to dinner or hanging out with friends got kinda old. I started to catch feelings because she insisted on massaging my back and was always there to help with anything I needed. But her having no license got a little old. She's 24, and we live in the city. But not like New York. Not a subway in sight. I got old of it though and wanted something a little more serious. They said I think I'm asexual after a very awkward and failed first attempt. It had been a long time for me, and she had only done it a handful of times beforehand. We're still best friends, but it's been a confusing time for me. Struggled with self-image and confidence issues for about a year after, thinking it was something I did, or that they just realized they weren't physically attracted to me. Still feeling the effects honestly. We discussed that I just got out of a relationship and wasn't looking for a new one. She was fun to be around in small doses, and I had no interest in anything long-term with her. She suggested FWB and I agreed. After 6 months she woke up one morning and bished me out because I only called her and I wanted a booty call, which was true. Only she did the same thing. I just called her on the hypocrisy and ghosted her. She started to like me. Big time. Like calling me at 2 a.m. saying she misses me. She eventually got a BF. They broke up. She called me again for sex. I've had a few over the years, and I always tell them I'm not gonna fall in love. Not because I'm a guy, but because I was a piece of shit. I didn't entertain the idea of making them my girlfriend, and they knew it. Yet, they acted shocked when they ended up falling for me. We are good friends. We are both mature adults who agreed in the beginning that we would remain friends. It only ended because I moved out of state. If I were in a different place in my life, we probably would have ended up in a relationship. He holds a special place in my heart, and if I were in his town and showed up at his door, he wouldn't turn me away. He gave me the absolute most amazing sex I ever had. Pretty well. I know I'm like the 1100 situation. We met at college or orientation. He was into me, but I wasn't. At a party I was hot and horny and he took his chance. I told him I wasn't into him, and we could go our own ways if he thought it best. He said he could keep any emotions out of it, and we could stay FWB for about a year and a half anytime we were horny and had no one else, we'd do it together. Just kind of faded friends though. For a while it was understood that if we were ever anywhere and were alone, we would hook up. It was fun. No heartbreak. No drama. Just good old-fashioned baseball. We ended up living in different states and would hook up every once in a while. But eventually, we just moved on with our lives. I'm married. She's married. And it's not awkward to hang out. She ended up finding a guy to go on a date with while I was visiting from a few states away to do the thing and also just hang out. She asked me to leave while they hooked up, which while we weren't having a relationship felt really fucked up because I was her guest with nowhere to really go other than out into town. I stopped talking for her for a year or so, but we've made up as just friends. CK together with his baby mama, had another baby with her, married her, divorced within a year or two, and throughout all this continued to send me random messages trying to meet up for 10 years after. I told him several times not interested, fuck off, etc., and ignored the last message in 2021 completely. One of my former FWBs is still a very good friend, my current partner, and I went to his wedding last year. We stopped hooking up because I got into a relationship, but we had a very genuine friendship. Another got uncomfortable with the casualness of it but also didn't want to escalate. So, we just kind of stopped talking. Current partner started as an FWB and we've been together for 3 years. Dad, it was only a sexual thing to me, but we occasionally went on vacations together, and I was like her puppet. I finally walked away and she moved to another city. From time to time she steps in my city and contact me. She is already married with a child but manages to look for me, despite I would really like to do it. No, my friend, I had my doses learn my lesson. She was 10 years older than me and had 2 kids. I outright told her I didn't want anything serious. Our FWB relationship went on for almost 2 years. It ended when she caught feelings for me, but we remained friends. She wound up getting married to some guy out of town and is expecting her 3rd kid, and I got into a serious relationship with this girl. Essie with him telling me we should stop because I had feelings from the start and he wasn't looking for a relationship. Then we'd end up getting back into it after a few weeks. Rinse repeat for a year. We've been together for 7 years. He's my best friend and favorite person I've ever met, and we're getting married next year. I only fucked her when she wanted. That was no benefit. I was essentially friend-zoned with the occasional fuck and sex play. I wanted to be with her normally. Eventually I snapped out of it and we remain good friends. There is now absolutely nothing sexual. I wouldn't do anything with her if you paid me. She has been sistified. I caught feelings. Asked me to try and stuff that way down because they needed a connection due to some personal stuff. Dad's suggestion. But I did that. Months later they caught feelings. Tough luck cause I had shoved it so far down that it was never coming back. Told them I'm out, ruined a friendship of 8 years. Oh great, we were both rebounding off other relationships and we were not meant to be together at all. But we enjoyed each other's company and we cared about each other. We were actually friends. When we ended things, he sang me to sleep and we cuddled all night. Love and care doesn't have to be committed. I was rebounding. He was upset that I wasn't developing feelings for him, and then used that as an excuse to dump me on my birthday to chase a girl who didn't even like him back. It was not cute. We unfollowed each other on everything. We had known each other for almost 15 years and it ended our friendship. In my experience, I had a good friend that said something that made me think he was catching feelings. It kind of scared me away. And instead of talking to him about it like an adult, I dumped him and walked away from his friendship. So I never got the chance to know how it could have gone. We moved on to an open relationship. It's been 13 years and we have 2 kids. 2 giant dogs and a house. It worked really well for us and continues. but only due to good communication and trust. It helps that I'm not very emotional or romantically inclined, and he doesn't get jealous. She had romantic feelings for me, and I did not have them for her. I was nice about it and made this clear. It took a bit of time for her to realize that a relationship wouldn't happen. We stopped sleeping together because it blurred the lines. We ended up becoming best friends. It was a dumpster fire, but it taught me a lot, and over time I was able to accept my part of the responsibility for it ending the way it did. Now I steer clear of these situations as I know they don't work for me. Most people don't get out of these situationships unscathed. I don't remember really. We just went back to being friends. I think she cheated on 3 BFS with me though. She was the original best gal at my wedding, but she got pregnant and couldn't, so another chick I hooked up was. My wife talks to them both more than I do. She kept pushing for a relationship. I made it clear before we did anything that I didn't want a relationship, and she agreed. She was constantly bringing it up and telling me how great of a girlfriend she'd be. I had to talk away and she gave me the clap, lol. Ended horribly when I was informed that she preferred me to her BF. She was cheating on him with me. I walked away and didn't look back. A few years later she was preg and single, no idea who was the dad or if long-term BF ever found out. I married him, lol. We were FWB for about 6 months before we realized we were actually in love with each other and wanted to do the official thing. Got married about 6 years later. Been married for 5 years now. Still love the guy.